My daughter decided to live with my ex-husband, who married his wealthy female boss instead. I feel ashamed to consider a failure like you my mom anyway. 7 years later, she shows up at my house in rag clothes, but I slammed the door in her face. I, Kate, 46 female, met Edward, 47 male in high school when I was 16. We fell in love quickly and got married young. He was charming and funny, and we spent our days flirting and sharing secrets. Young love made our relationship feel easy. He was charming and funny, and I fell for him instantly. In class, our eyes would always find each other, and my heart would flutter at his shy smiles. Lunchtime was filled with inside jokes and hushed conversations. After school, we'd walk home together, our hands brushing, quote-unquote, accidentally, as we talked for hours. Edward was my Prince Charming, and I was swept away by our budding romance. Every stolen kiss, every whispered promise, and every late-night phone call filled me with the joy I'd never known before. High school hallways held our secrets, and the promise of our future together felt bright and limitless. Edward was my best friend, and we dreamed of building a wonderful life together. As we got older, our love just grew. Some people didn't think we should marry so young, but we didn't care. We were 20 when we said our vows in a small ceremony with our closest loved ones. It was a beautiful day, all about love and promises. A few years into our marriage, our daughter Lily was born. Being parents was a crazy mix of emotions. Pure happiness holding her, but also sleepless nights and lots of cuddles. Edward and I loved being parents, and watching our little girl grow meant everything to us. We celebrated so many special moments as a family, from Lily's first wobbly steps to her proud graduation day. We were always there for her. Edward was the perfect dad, always loving, supportive, and ready to help. Even with the busy life of being parents, Edward and I kept our own love strong. We made sure to have date nights, just the two of us. Sometimes, it was just a simple dinner out, other times a weekend trip. These moments together reminded us why we fell in love and promised to be together forever. As the years unfolded, our family grew with the addition of Lily's husband, Ben, and our two precious grandchildren, Ethan and Maya. The tapestry of our lives became richer and more vibrant, filled with laughter, love, and the unwavering support of generations. Through life's inevitable ups and downs, Edward was my constant. His unwavering love and steadfast presence were my anchors amidst life's many storms. Our journey together wasn't always easy, but the strength of our bond carried us through every challenge, reaffirming that true love truly conquers all. I thought we were happy, but I was wrong. The day I found out Edward had been cheating is burned into my memory. It was a normal Tuesday afternoon. I was in the kitchen, dealing with bills. I needed a number from Edward's phone when a text from Monica, his boss, popped up. It was just a thank you for a project, but something about it felt wrong. The message seemed too friendly, and a wave of worry washed over me. I tried to ignore the feeling, but it didn't go away. Over the next few days, I started to notice things. Edward would take late night calls, whisper into the phone, and quickly delete messages. I knew it in my gut. He was cheating with Monica. One night, I found proof on Edward's phone, messages that showed he was cheating. My whole world shattered. The life I thought we had was a lie. The pain cut deep, a burning ache with every breath. It wasn't just the cheating that hurt. It was how he treated me. Like I didn't matter. Like I was nothing. The man I loved and trusted felt like a stranger now. His lies unraveled everything we'd built. I confronted him, my voice shaking with a mix of anger and heartbreak. How could you was all I could manage. Edward's eyes flickered with guilt, but then hardened. He downplayed it, calling it just a fling. His words felt like a slap. The man I loved and trusted sounded cold, a stranger in his place. His lies unraveled everything we'd built. The worst part was how Edward acted. He tried to say it wasn't a big deal and gave weak apologies. The man I loved seemed gone, replaced with someone who didn't care about me or how much he hurt me. He seemed to forget all our years together. I was left heartbroken and alone, but I knew I deserved better. Even though I was sad, I wasn't going to let him break me. The worst part came later. My daughter Lily, only 18 years old, told me she wanted to live with her dad and stepmom. It felt like the world was crashing down around me. Her words hurt more than anything. I felt like I was drowning. I cried and begged her to stay. I wanted to fix our relationship, but she wouldn't listen. She was disappointed in me and saw me as a failure, a mom who couldn't keep her family together. The shame of that was so heavy, it hurt to even breathe. The pain of her rejection left me feeling helpless and hopeless. As I watched her pack her bags, a sense of overwhelming loss washed over me. Her childhood room, once filled with laughter and shared secrets, seemed cold and empty. The silence that settled around me echoed the desolation within my heart. In the depths of my despair, a single desperate question thrummed through my mind. What was left of me without my daughter? I couldn't stand the thought of losing her, watching her walk out the door, but I couldn't make her stay with me either. She didn't want to be around me anymore. I was just a sad reminder of her broken family. As she packed her bags, my heart felt like it was breaking in two. I wanted to hold her and never let go, but I knew I couldn't. I had to let her choose her own way, even if that way was without me. The silence that settled as she drove away with her father left a ringing emptiness in my ears. I walked through our house, now quiet and still. Her childhood room, once brimming with memories, felt cold and desolate. After Lily left, her absence felt like a heavy weight on my shoulders. I couldn't stop thinking about her and the gap she left behind. I was filled with sadness and regret, wondering if there was anything I could have done to make things better between us, to protect her from the pain we were going through. After our divorce, I felt hurt and lost. I had to start over completely. Every day felt heavy as I faced the reality of my broken marriage to Edward. One big problem was money. Without a steady job, I didn't know how to pay my bills. Finding work seemed impossible, especially with everything else going on. I had to rebuild my life from scratch. It wasn't easy. The pain of betrayal lingered, making every step forward hard. But I had to keep going, even when it felt like too much. Despite the challenges, I was determined to move forward and create a new, better life for myself. As I worked hard to rebuild my life step by step, I couldn't help but see how differently Edward was acting. While I was still dealing with the aftermath of our divorce and trying to find my way, he moved on quickly. He married Monica so fast, as if he didn't care about our past together. Losing both my husband and my daughter hit me hard. I was so sad. It felt like I was drowning in sorrow. Every day was a struggle against feeling hopeless and down. I didn't have a job to keep my mind busy, so I just kept sinking into a dark place, feeling like there was no way out. It was like fighting an invisible enemy, trying to keep myself from falling deeper into despair. The sadness and emptiness were overwhelming, making it hard to see any light at the end of the tunnel. But even in the darkness, I held on, hoping that someday things would get better. But seeing Edward move on so easily hurt a lot. It reminded me of the pain he caused our family when he betrayed us. It was tough to watch him find happiness and stability while I was still trying to fix my life. It felt like he didn't even look back at our shared history. While I struggled, he seemed to forget all about me and our life together. It made me realize how much damage his actions caused. But even though it hurt, I knew I had to keep going. I had to focus on putting my life together, even if it was too hard. I couldn't let Edward's actions hold me back from finding my own happiness and stability. So, despite the pain, I kept moving forward, determined to rebuild my life brick by brick. I didn't look or feel like myself anymore. I stopped caring how I looked and felt too sad to do basic things. Grief weighed on me like a heavy blanket. I felt empty and lost, like I had no reason to go on. My mom was always there for me during that dark time. She loved and supported me, helping me get through each day. She guided me through my sadness and helped me find hope again. My mom was like medicine for my hurting heart, showing me I wasn't alone and giving me hope. She listened to me cry without judging and hugged me tight as I shared my pain. But she did more than just listen. She saw how much I was struggling and took action. She made sure I got the help I needed, from setting up appointments with a therapist to making sure I took my medicine on time. She did everything she could to help me heal and feel better. Her love and support meant everything to me during that tough time. Even simple things, like making food or doing chores, were full of love when my mom did them for me. She cared for me with so much kindness and dedication. Her love was always there, giving me strength and reminding me that I was valued, even on the hardest days. When I was feeling lost and sad, my mom's hugs and care felt like a safe haven in a storm. Her love gave me hope and helped me find the strength to take control of my life again. With her encouragement, I decided to make a fresh start. I had studied hotel management, so I set out to find a job in that field. It wasn't easy, but I was determined to find something that would not only help me financially, but also reignite my passion for hospitality. My mom's support was my guiding light as I faced the challenges ahead. I was relieved and thankful when my hard work paid off sooner than I thought. I got a job at a fancy hotel that appreciated my skills. Going back to work after a tough time felt amazing. It showed me that people can bounce back from hard times if they keep trying. But getting a job was just the start. I wanted to do more and make more money. So I started learning about trading. I studied stocks, bonds, and other things to grow my knowledge and income. I was hungry to learn and grow in this new venture. Each time I made money with my investments, I felt stronger and more in control of my life. I was building a better future for myself. And since I was living with my mom, I didn't have to pay rent. This meant I could invest even more money and start to feel secure again. But while I was busy working and investing, I didn't forget how much my mom helped me. She supported me, which meant I could heal and learn to stand on my own. She was always there for me, and that made me feel like I could get through anything. We cheered for each other's little wins and supported each other when things got tough. We were determined to keep going, no matter what obstacles came our way. Seeing my mom happy and proud of me made me realize how strong her love is. It gave me the strength to keep pushing forward, even when I felt tired or unsure. Her love always lifts me up and gives me the courage to be independent and chase my dreams, no matter how old I am. Meeting Ted and starting a new journey together felt like fate. We met by chance at a charity event and instantly clicked. Ted's kindness and intelligence caught my attention right away. Talking to him was easy and fun. We shared stories and laughed together, realizing we had a deep connection. It wasn't just about being attracted to each other. There was something more meaningful between us. It felt like we were meant to meet and start this journey together. Our time together was like a beautiful adventure filled with love. We went on many dates and trips that brought us even closer. One memorable trip was when we visited Ted's hometown, a charming little place. We explored the streets, tried delicious food, and laughed a lot. Another special moment was when Ted met my mom for the first time. I was nervous, but Ted's warm smile and friendly personality won her over instantly. Seeing them get along so well made my heart swell with happiness. As our relationship grew, we shared more meaningful experiences. Ted always knew how to make me feel loved and cherished. One evening, he surprised me with a romantic dinner under the stars. It was so romantic and unforgettable. These moments made me realize how lucky I was to have Ted in my life. And when Ted proposed to me, it was the happiest moment of my life. I knew without a doubt that I wanted to spend forever with him. Our wedding day was perfect. Surrounded by our loved ones, Ted and I promised to love each other forever. But that wasn't the end of our story. We had a big dream: to become innkeepers. We both loved taking care of people and wanted to create a cozy place where travelers could rest. We saved up all our money and worked hard to get a loan. It wasn't easy, but we believed in ourselves and our dreams. When we finally got the keys to our very own inn, it felt amazing. It was proof that with love, hard work, and a shared goal, anything is possible. Our inn means a lot to us. It's not just a business, it's a place filled with love and care. We've worked hard to make it special, putting our hearts into every part of it, from decorating the rooms with care to making sure guests feel welcome. We've put a lot of effort into every detail. We want everyone who stays with us to feel like they're at home. Working on the inn together has brought us closer as a couple. We share the work and the joy of making our guests happy. It's not always easy, but seeing people enjoy their stay makes it all worth it. Our inn is more than just a place to stay. It's a reflection of who we are and what we believe in. We hope that everyone who visits can feel the warmth and hospitality that we put into it. However, even with everything good in my life, I would sometimes miss my daughter. It had been quite some time since I last saw her. As years went by, I felt a deep sadness because my daughter Lily wasn't with me. Our bond had weakened, but I still missed her a lot. Her absence made me think about our relationship and how it had changed. Sometimes, memories of Lily would suddenly rush back to me, bringing with them a mix of emotions. I felt longing to see her again, but also sadness and even anger about how things had turned out. Even though I was dealing with my own pain, I couldn't stop thinking about Lily. I wondered about the person she had become, what challenges she faced, and what dreams she had. Even though she was far away, she was always on my mind. She was like a ghost in my thoughts, a reminder of the love we shared, no matter how much time had passed. That is why I was so surprised when I heard a knock and someone saying, "Mom, open the door, it's me." When I opened the door, I saw my daughter standing there after 7 years of not hearing from her. I was flooded with so many feelings. She looked different, like a grown-up now, but her eyes showed she was going through a lot. When she hugged me, it was like the years we spent apart didn't matter. Our bond was still strong despite everything. I could tell she was holding back tears and had a lot on her mind. I held her close, wanting to comfort her and let her know I was there for her. We didn't need to say anything, just being together was enough. In that moment, all that mattered was that we were reunited, and our love for each other was as strong as ever. "What are you doing here?" I asked, surprised. Her answer shocked me. Monica, Edward's new wife, had kicked her out after a fight with Edward. Lily had nowhere else to go and ended up sleeping in her car because she didn't have a job to support herself. Her words hit me hard. I felt a mix of emotions, sadness, anger, and confusion. But before I could respond, I found myself laughing bitterly. "You expect me to help you after all this time," I said, still hurt by the past. Deep down, I wanted to help her. She was my daughter after all. But the pain of our past made it hard for me to trust her again. I needed time to process everything she told me and figure out what to do next. I couldn't believe it. After all these years, she showed up at my door. But instead of feeling happy, I remembered the hurtful things she said before. "Remember when you didn't want me as your mom?" I said angrily. "You chose to live with your stepmom, so go back to her." With those harsh words, I closed the door, feeling a mix of emotions. I was angry and hurt, but deep down, I knew I might have been too harsh. Now I was alone again, facing the consequences of my actions. The silence around me made me realize how cruel I had been. As the weight of regret settled heavily upon my shoulders, I couldn't help but wonder if I had made a grave mistake. Had my pride and resentment blinded me to the needs of my own flesh and blood? Or had Lily's rejection severed the bond between us beyond repair? So, am I the a-hole for not helping my daughter? Am I the a-hole for not helping my daughter? After Lily showed up at my door, I couldn't stop thinking about what happened. I felt like there was more to the story. I kept replaying our argument in my head, feeling sorry for how things went down. I needed answers, so I turned to my friend Sarah. Sarah's husband worked with Edward closely, so I figured she might know what was going on. I felt nervous, but I had to ask her about it. I hoped she could help me understand what was happening. Sarah confirmed my suspicions. She told me things weren't going well between Monica and Edward. Monica lost her company, and they had to move to a smaller place. This caused a lot of fights between them, making their once happy home feel tense and unhappy. The troubles kept piling up. Lily coming back only made things worse between Monica and Edward. They were already struggling with their own problems, and Lily losing her job made everything more tense. Their home became like a bomb waiting to explode, with everyone feeling frustrated and angry. As Sarah told me about the fights getting worse, I felt more and more sad. It seemed like Lily's return caused even more problems. Monica and Lily were constantly arguing, each one trying to be in charge. Monica's harsh words made Lily feel terrible, pushing her to leave the house to escape the negativity. The saddest part was finding out that Edward let Lily get kicked out of the house. It showed how much he betrayed her, leaving her to struggle alone in the world that felt cold and unwelcoming. Listening to Sarah talk about what happened at Edward and Monica's house made me feel really sorry for Lily. She went through so much pain, even from people who were supposed to care for her. I decided I needed to make things right with Lily. I wanted to be there for her and help her through this tough time. It wouldn't be easy, but I knew we could face whatever came our way together. I am determined to find Lily and bring her back into my life, where she belonged. Even though the past hurt wouldn't go away, I want to do everything I can to show her love and support, now and forever. I was determined to find Lily and bring her back into my life, but it wasn't easy. I didn't know where she was, and I didn't want Monica and Edward to know I was looking for her. I felt unsure and scared about how to reach out to Lily without letting Monica and Edward know. I didn't want to cause more problems. Desperate to reconnect with Lily, I decided to try every avenue available. I reached out to some of Lily's old friends, hoping they might have heard from her or knew where she was. It was a long shot, but I had to try. I also checked Lily's social media accounts, hoping to find some clues about her whereabouts or what she had been up to. Scrolling through her posts and messages, I searched for any hints or mentions that could lead me to her. Despite my efforts, I came up empty-handed. Lily had gone off the grid, leaving no trace of her current location. It was frustrating and disheartening, but I refused to give up. So I asked Sarah for help. I felt sad and resigned, but I knew I needed to do something. I asked Sarah for Edward's contact information, preparing myself for what might happen next. I had Edward's number, so I called him, feeling nervous. But he just hung up on me without saying anything. It made me feel sad because it showed how much he didn't care about helping Lily. I didn't give up though. I tried calling him a few more times, but he kept ignoring me and hanging up. It seemed like he didn't want to talk or listen to anything I had to say. I tried calling Edward from different numbers, hoping he wouldn't recognize my voice, but as soon as he heard me, he hung up each time. It was frustrating and disheartening. It seemed like he didn't want to listen to me at all, no matter what I said or how I tried to reach out. Feeling defeated, I couldn't help but wonder why Edward was being so cold and indifferent. Didn't he realize how much Lily needed her family right now? Didn't he understand that I just want to help her, to be there for her in her time of need? Despite my frustration, I refused to give up. I knew I had to keep trying, to find another way to reach Edward and make him understand. Lily needed me, and I couldn't let her down. Feeling frustrated and desperate, I knew I had to do something, so I decided to go to Edward's house and talk to him face to face. I felt determined as I walked through the quiet streets. When I rang the doorbell, my heart was racing. I felt unsure about what would happen next. Edward opened the door, looking suspicious and unfriendly. "Why are you here?" he asked, sounding angry. I gathered all my courage and looked him in the eye. "I need to talk to you," I said firmly, despite feeling nervous inside. At first, he tried to ignore me, but I wouldn't give up. "I need to find Lily," I insisted, feeling the urgency of the situation. After I spoke, there was a quiet moment. Edward seemed to be thinking, his face not showing much. Then he sighed and gave in a bit. "She might be at a friend's house," he said, sounding a little sorry. He gave me Lily's number, showing that he knew we still cared about each other, even if things weren't great between us. I felt relieved as I took the number and quickly called Lily, feeling anxious as I waited for her to answer. Luckily, she picked up right away. She sounded upset when she said, "Mom?" "Yeah, it's me," I said, feeling emotional too. "I need you to come home, Lily. We need to talk." Without any delay, Lily agreed to come home. I could hear in her voice how much she wanted to be with me again. When I hung up the phone, I felt a mix of excitement and worry about what was coming next. When Lily arrived, I could tell she was hurting. Her face showed all the pain she had been through, and her eyes were red from crying. I didn't say anything, just hugged her tightly. It felt like her sadness was pressing against me. As we talked, pouring out her heart and saying sorry for everything, I listened carefully. "It's okay, sweetheart," I said softly, trying to comfort her. "You're back home now, and I'm here for you." Those words seemed to bring us both peace. We felt like we were starting fresh, with hope for the future. Sitting down together for a meal, we could feel the love and forgiveness in the air, pushing away the sadness of the past and showing us the way to heal and move forward. A few days later, after Lily came to my home, we decided to get her stuff. Going to Edward and Monica's house to get Lily's things was really tough. I felt nervous as we walked up the door, but when we got there, I was shocked to see Edward and Monica drunk in the middle of the day. They could barely talk, and their eyes were all red. They smelled like alcohol, and it made me feel uncomfortable being around them. It was sad to see them like that, and it made the whole situation even harder to deal with. Their house was a mess too. There were empty bottles scattered around, and the place looked like it hadn't been cleaned in a while. It was a stark contrast to how I remembered it, once a warm and welcoming home, now tainted by the effects of their drinking. It was sad to see them like that, and it made the whole situation even harder to deal with. As we started packing Lily's stuff, Edward and Monica's drunken talk turned into yelling and mean words. They threw insults and blamed us for everything, getting angrier and louder. Edward accused us of trying to ruin their lives and taking Lily away from them. He shouted that we were interfering and causing trouble for no reason. Monica joined in, her words filled with bitterness and spite. She accused us of betraying them and siding with Lily against them. She yelled about how ungrateful Lily was and how much they had done for her. But despite their anger and hostility, we remained focused on our task, determined to retrieve Lily's belongings and leave as quickly as possible. Amid all the shouting, I felt like I had to protect Lily from Edward and Monica's anger. I hurriedly packed her things, feeling sad with each item I picked up. They reminded me of the broken relationship we used to have. Finally, we managed to leave. Their angry words still rang in our ears, but I felt relieved. Even though they hurt us, we left with our heads held high, not letting their hate break us. After everything, I looked forward to rebuilding my relationship with Lily. I wanted to make up for the lost time and have a future filled with love and forgiveness. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but we were determined to face any challenges together. Every day, our bond grows stronger as we continue to work on rebuilding our relationship. Even though there are still tough times ahead, I know we can handle them as long as we are together, moving forward on our journey of healing and redemption. Now I'm focused on helping Lily get back on her feet. One way is by polishing up her resume and help her find a job. Lily doesn't have much work experience, so I've arranged for her to work part-time in the inn. This way, she can gain some valuable experience and skills that will help her in the future. I know there might be some people out there who think I should have kicked Lily out when things got tough. But to me, being a parent means supporting your child through thick and thin, no matter what mistakes they make. It's my job to take care of them and help them find their way back on track. So I'm doing everything I can to help Lily rebuild her life, whether it's finding her a job or just being there for her emotionally. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure she knows she's loved and supported. Because at the end of the day, family comes first, no matter what. That was it for today's story. Thank you very much for listening. Smash that like button for me and subscribe for more stories. Thanks again, and we'll be seeing you in the next one.